My name is Nick, and welcome to my channel where I like to talk about scary stuff. If you've been around for a minute, well then I hope you're happy to see the return of the Saturday Shudder reviews. Also, happy Pride everyone! For the month of June, I want to take a look at Shudder's queer horror collection to spotlight some of my favorites, and we have to start out with Lyle. This indie psychological horror drama stars Gaby Hoffmann as Leah, a pregnant lesbian who, along with her wife and daughter, move into a steal of an apartment in New York City. After suffering a terrible tragedy, Leah begins to suspect the residents of her building are out to ruin her family. So I can't help but spoil this one because the movie telegraphs to its audience right off the bat exactly what it is. And that's lesbian Rosemary's Baby. That's really all you need to know. And also that it's an hour long. It's short, sweet, and straight to the point. As you may be able to guess, Gaby Hoffmann truly is the movie. The whole thing rests on her performance, and I am living for the choices she's making here. We've all seen plenty of these films where you have a protagonist who is believed to be crazy by everyone around them, even though we know that they know some serious shit is about to go down. And I think Hoffman does a great job of making us root for Leah while also being like, girl, you okay? You haven't bathed in a week. While we spend almost the entirety of the film within the confines of this apartment, I like that there was enough going on to keep me creeped out. We have the weird neighbor lady who is pretending to be pregnant, and let's be real, there's nothing scarier than removing wallpaper only to find more wallpaper. As Leah slips into full-blown paranoia, she discovers this twisted history throughout the city of all these unexplained child deaths, and she's like, there's a baby cult out there. Hide your baby, hide your ovaries, the baby cult is coming for you. As audience members, we're supposed to be questioning, is Leah okay, or is there actually a baby cult out there? The way I'm phrasing this, I'm realizing it sounds like a cult made up of babies. Like, can you imagine a cult made up of little babies? Again, we've seen tons of movies like this, and I think maybe because Lyle is shorter, so many other psychological horror dramas kind of spin their wheels so much during the second portion of the film that we get to the point where it's like, I don't really care if she's crazy or not, she probably is, just end the damn movie already. Here they don't overdo it, and again, thanks to Hoffman's great performance, I was on board all the way through, even though I knew exactly how this was gonna end. As for my problems with the film, they're honestly quite minor, and really don't take away from the viewing experience for me personally, because I think everything in this movie was very deliberately done. But my biggest problem is the very obvious lack of emotion between June and Leah. From the very beginning, there's this disconnect between the two characters, and I simply didn't care about them as a couple, which is a damn shame, because I'm trying to talk about gay horror here. Sorry to immediately compare Lyle to the classic, but what works so well in Rosemary's Baby is that in the beginning, we see Rosemary and Guy as this young, loving couple, and that adds to the emotional impact and the weight of the film that makes the ending so horrifying. Without that here, it's just like cold as ice lesbian who makes a deal with the devil because she's not even a character. I do think it's purposeful, but I think it would have been stronger if we got a lot more out of that relationship. My other issue is the big spoiler, there's your warning, just saying, but the thing that sets Lyle apart from the imitators, the special sauce, if you will, is that in this movie, in this universe, oh hey, it's editor Nick stepping in because filming Nick messed this part up, but basically one male soul is the equivalent of two female souls. So say you make a deal with the devil to give him your firstborn son for all the money in the world or whatever, well, what happens if you don't get that firstborn son? Well, two daughters will do just fine. And that's exactly what happens, because little baby Lyle falls out of an open window at the beginning of the film. It's very sad and very tragic. And then we see June being so visibly upset that their second child is also going to be a girl. This is when I say the movie telegraphs it to you, because you see June's expression towards the beginning and you're like, oh, okay, lesbian Rosemary's Baby. Got it. I do think you could make the argument that the message is trying to say that women have it doubly hard in this cruel world we live in, but still something about it just doesn't really sit right with me. It's not a big issue, it's just something I don't love. What really works for me personally is looking at Lyle simply as a piece of filmmaking, because it was obviously made with a low budget and limited resources, but I think this is the type of movie that every independent filmmaker should want to pull off when they're starting out at the bottom. I'm over here basically studying this movie because it's certainly what I'd hope to pull off if I was given the same opportunity. It is simple, straightforward storytelling told with passion and panache. As for the concept, I'm gonna give Lyle a 4.5 out of 5 because it's lesbian Rosemary's Baby. I mean, that's like as made for me as it gets. If it were a little more developed, it would get a 5 out of 5 for me. I will give it a 5 out of 5 for execution because I think writer-director Stuart Thorndike completed his vision as intended, and it works incredibly well for me. As for the entertainment value, I'll give it a 2.5 out of 5. I know this won't be thrilling for most. It is a low-budget, indie, mostly drama film that's about one character in a single location as we question whether or not they're crazy. I know that's not fun for most people, but I will say, I watched this for the first time like a month and a half ago, and I already wanted to rewatch and review it. As for my personal grade, I'm gonna give Lyle a 4 out of 5. What did you guys think of Lyle? And what are some of your favorite queer horror movies? Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I greatly appreciate it as always. You can follow me on Instagram and Letterboxd for more movie recommendations. That's it for this video, but I won't stop you from watching another.